Hey guys, welcome. Happy Friday to everybody. I know that you are ready to get your weekend started. I'm so excited to have Debbie Corwin here today with TA Toolkit. This is one of the most innovative tools that I have seen in the marketplace as of late. It is a huge time saver. Debbie is a woman after my own heart because she actually loves operational efficiency, probably more than I do. And I think this was a huge driver for her in developing this product. If you are not aware, Debbie actually won the Entrepreneur of the Year award from ASTA, which was huge. So she got up on the main stage to collect her grand prize and talk a little bit about her product. So if you are joining us for the first time just today, I want to say a couple of things. First, these are down and dirty sessions. The format will go like this. Debbie is going to present to you 3 key takeaways in about 10 to 15 minutes. We will leave about 10 to 15 minutes of time left for you guys to ask questions. You can put them in the chat. I will be monitoring the chat. I'll also monitor over in our Facebook group. You can raise your hand. And then, of course, if you want to show your lovely face and unmute yourself and ask your questions that way, you are more than welcome to do that. I will prompt you to do so. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you Debbie Corwin, the founder of TA Toolkit. Debbie, go ahead and let them know a little bit about you, and then I'll let you go ahead and dive into your presentation today.
Great. Thank you, Sheila. And thank you everyone for being here today. I trust that you're getting some value from this Prepping for the Wave Season series that Sheila is bringing to you. So I just think that's a fabulous idea. So a little about me. 8 years ago, I left my job in the corporate world. I was the continuous improvement manager for a local manufacturing company. I left there and opened my travel agency. So I not only have sat where you're sitting, but I am still sitting there as well. I still run my travel agency. But my job as a continuous improvement manager was to find ways to use technology to work smarter, faster, more accurately. And I like to say it was the perfect job for me because I say that I'm lazy. And by that, I mean that if I can find a better way or a faster way to get the same outcome, or at least an acceptable outcome, I'm going to do it. And so that's kind of where I was when I created TA Toolkit. I will tell you a little bit more about TA Toolkit as we go through, but that's not the main focus of this meeting, right? So we're going to talk today about 3 steps to increasing your hourly income. And I've got a few slides, if it's okay. I'm going to share my screen. Is that okay? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry about that, but you know what? I made you co-host, so you should be able to share anyway without my permission.
I think I can.
Okay.
Let's try this. How's that?
Perfect.
Okay, wonderful. All right. So we're just going to dive right in if this will move forward for me. Well, my slides aren't moving. You know what? If we have to do it, okay.
It might be the way the screen share happens, Debbie. Try to actually click right on the slide itself.
I did, but it didn't work. So we'll just show it in this mode. That's absolutely fine. So when I first started my travel agency, the one thing that frustrated the heck out of me was the amount of time that it took to look for a resort for people, right? So you're digging through, they want anything but Mexico. So that took a lot of time. So that's what got me to creating TA Toolkit. But the other thing I did was I wanted to create a goal for how much I made per hour. And so for me, the best way to do it was to determine how much I wanted to make per hour that I was actually working on a client's trip, because there's so much time that we spend not on unpaid activities, right? So if I can get this to move, there we go. So paid time for me was qualifying clients, talking to them on the phone, researching trip details, booking their trip, answering their questions, assembling travel packets, or dealing with issues along the way. Unpaid time, things like marketing, social media posts, bookkeeping, going to my networking meetings, all of these things were unpaid time. So in the time that I was working with clients, I wanted to make $100 an hour. So that's not really a crazy amount, considering the fact that that we do have all that unpaid time, and yours may be higher. And at this point, 8 years later, I should probably raise my goal as well. So no matter what your goal or the method that you used to determine it, there are 3 steps that I like to take each year to help ensure that I either meet or exceed my goal. It's either reducing expenses, increasing sales, or working more efficiently. So while I'm talking, go ahead and jot down any ideas that you hear and think that you might want to use. And at the end, Sheila is going to pop a worksheet link into the chat screen, and you'll be able to click on that and go grab the worksheet that I created for you to prep for 2023. So, oops, I need to learn to advance my own slides while I'm talking, right? Reduce expenses, increase sales, and work more efficiently. That's what we're going to talk about. So the first one is reducing expenses. So while that's not technically increasing your hourly income, I don't think any discussion on this topic would be complete without mentioning expense reduction. So I know you guys heard from my friend Stephanie Cannon, I believe yesterday. And while I was unable to attend, I did do her class at the ASTA convention, and this was one of her topics. So if I repeat something you heard yesterday, then it must be important enough for you to hear twice. So the first thing I want to say is to start by running a report of your expenses for 2022. And then go through each line item and put a letter next to it. So for the first set of expenses, these are going to be ones that are necessary for running your business. So I'm going to ask you to put an N next to those. That's E&O insurance. That's your business license. Depending on your model, it could be web hosting fees or agency fees or any of those types of things that you have to do to run your business. And then the next set that I want you to look at is A's, and these are advertising and marketing. Okay, so Facebook ads, going to a bridal show or some other kind of show, BNI dues or networking dues, anything like that that you're using to get out there and drum up business, put an A next to those. For the third set, we're going to put an O next to them, and the O doesn't stand for anything. It just looks different than an N and an A. So these are things that could be important for your business, but they aren't absolutely necessary. CLIA membership, sometimes an IATA card, sometimes you need it, sometimes you don't, depending on your model. Your TIS membership, client gifts, all these things that you feel are important to running your business, but they aren't absolutely necessary. And then finally, we're going to put an X next to everything else. And I put some of my own on here. In January 2020, I decided that I was going to focus on a Holy Land travel niche or faith-based travel. So I got a Walk the Bible Lands subscription. That was something where I could use to learn more about where I was going to be sending people. And of course, we know what happened, and I have not canceled that membership. So that's something that I need to do this coming year. Jotform subscriptions, a Condé Nast, some kind of a travel magazine, things that they're really on the iffy side as to whether you want to consider those for the next year or not. So that will give you a group of expenses to look through, and then start to determine, do I need this? Do I not need this? Is there some way that I can do it for less? Or, it is for Condé Nast? I don't know. If you get a one in the mail, is an online subscription cheaper? You get the same thing, but pay a little bit less. I don't know. So those are the things for you to start looking through to reduce your expenses. And then the next thing to increase our expenses, or excuse me, to increase our income, is to actually sell more. So I've got a list of things here to consider, the add-ons that clients might need. Travel insurance, right? We should all be offering the travel insurance to our clients, and not just offering it to them. When I was not a travel agent and I would book a trip, my travel agent would say, do you want the travel insurance? And I would say, no, I'm going no matter what, right? So to me, it was just about cancellation. She never told me anything different. I did not know at the time that my US health insurance did not cover me traveling internationally. So that was something that she could have told, and that's something that I use when I'm talking to my clients. I tell them, you know, if you have to cancel your vacation, you can afford that. You're going to lose $5,000, but it's not going to devastate you because you could afford to go on the vacation anyway. All you're missing out on is the experience. But if you get down there, let's say you go to Mexico and you end up having an emergency appendectomy that costs $30,000 or $40,000, and it's not covered by your insurance, that can be more devastating, not just financially, but the time that it could take to try to come up with the money. We've probably all seen those articles, right? Oh, so this poor couple, the guy had a heart attack while he's down there, and now they're holding him hostage and he can't come home. So I like to not try to scare a client, but tell them the story about what could possibly happen if they don't have the travel insurance. Another one is commissionable excursions. So if clients are going on a cruise, you've got options. They don't have to buy from the cruise line where you don't get any money. They could be buying from Project Expedition or Shore Excursions Group or shore trips, any of those kind of things. So think about the excursions, the add-ons that you can do. Think about cruise lines that have lower NCFs. Right now, we've got a great opportunity with Norwegian, right? So lower NCFs is something to consider. Planning fees, a lot of you are already doing planning fees. Do you want to increase them? Do you want to implement them? So those are some things to consider. Kind of outside the box, what about affiliate links? Do you have clients who ask you, oh my gosh, I need new suitcases, or I need a passport holder, or anything like that? Could you create a web page that has the affiliate links of everything that you recommend and set them up to Amazon or something to order, and you make a little bit of money off of each of those? So if you've got those kinds of clients, that might be something to consider. And then just what other things can you think of? So I did want to tell you a quick story that happened to me just this week. So I have a repeat client, and she wanted an inexpensive cruise for her daughter's high school graduation this coming spring. And she told me it was her and her husband and the daughter, and she didn't want to spend more than $2,500. But and she had found a 5-night Carnival cruise that would fit. But as we kept talking, she wanted to know how much the beverage package cost. And then, she needed to make sure that she had Wi-Fi for her work so that she could do some things while she was traveling, as she's a business owner as well. So anyway, I went through and did the regular quotes for her, not just on the Carnival that she was looking at, but I sent her a couple of Norwegian options as well. And she was looking at 5 nights with the beverage package. I've got the numbers here I'm looking at. On the Carnival cruise, it was going to be $3,380 with a commission of $273. Okay, so as I said, I quoted her Norwegian Escape 7 nights. Okay, so she got 2 more nights. She got the free at sea package, with the gratuities that go along with it. Her total was $3,582. So it was just a little more than $200 more, and my commission is $412. And so she had actually forgotten about the Wi-Fi. I'm the one who reminded her of that. I forgot that. And then she has the specialty dining so that they can do a celebration dinner at one of the specialty restaurants. And so even if they don't use the 4th one, they can just let that 4th one drop off. I also broke down to her the daily cost. So she's paying $200 more for Norwegian, but she's getting 2 more nights. She's getting the beverage package. She's getting the Wi-Fi. She's getting the specialty dining. And per day, it was about $50 cheaper to go on Norwegian. And of course, we have the lower NCFs or get paid on the NCFs. Excuse me. So instead of the 273, I got 412, and that's a 50% increase in my commission. So sometimes clients know what they want, and sometimes we might know a little bit better. I think she's going to have a little bit better experience on Norwegian, so hopefully that will all work out. So that's just an idea, and I don't want to say that I'm recommending that you become a pushy salesperson and try to push all this extra stuff on clients. These are all things that they either A, need anyway, like travel insurance, or B, are going to buy anyway, like excursions or beverage packages, that kind of thing. So when you get those cruise lines that fit the client, but also offer the beverage package in a way that you get paid on it as well, it's a good deal for everybody. All right. The final one is work more efficiently, and this is the one that really fits where my heart is. Okay, so it seems like every day there's some new way that I see for a travel agent to spend money on some subscription or membership or something like that. I want to look at this to make sure I get this, because it's something important. So it could be, so there's things out there that you're doing, and there could be things that you're struggling with because you just don't know it well. Like maybe it's bookkeeping. Okay, that can be a struggle for a lot of people. It could be something that you do inconsistently because you just try to fit it in when you can. And for, I think a lot of us, if you're not scheduling them in advance, posting on social media is one that fits within that area. It also could just be something you hate doing. Like you might hate invoicing clients, but that's important because that's how you get paid. Or it could be putting all their information into a CRM or creating their travel packets, anything like that that you hate. So what if your goal was to make, like mine, $100 an hour for the time that you're working with clients? But you could pay a virtual assistant or a high school kid on some things, right? $25 an hour. And then you've got $100 an hour worth of productive time. This is what really fits me. And it's one of the things that people struggle with, especially when they're starting out, because you're thinking, I don't have money coming in yet. I've got all these expenses. But when you start getting busier and you don't have time to do these things, or you're taking time to do these things away from the things that are going to bring in the income, that's the balance you have to strike. If I can pay this much, but I can bring in that much, then that's where it starts making sense. That's your return on investment or your ROI on what you're doing. So like I said, there are lots of things you could spend your money on. We've already talked about TIS membership. That's saving you a lot of legal fees, right? It provides other benefits as well, like these webinars. Sheila's always coming up with something new and great for her members. Travify is a really popular product, right? We could just send clients the travel documents that come from Apple Vacations. That's what I used to get from my travel agent. But now we have Travify, and we can make these beautiful itineraries for people. They've got that app that my clients absolutely love. And so to me, that's one of the things that doesn't save me any time. That actually takes more time, but because my clients love it so much, it's worth it. And we use it to create those proposals, and people buy because we've got these beautiful visuals, right? Then there's my product, right? TA Toolkit. So that's one, if you're not familiar with it, real briefly, instead of, if you've got that client that says, I want to go anywhere in the Caribbean but Mexico. I want a swim out suite. I want a swim up bar. It has to have an Italian restaurant and on the beach. And my husband only drinks Bud Light. So those are things. Number one, if you're going to search everywhere in the Caribbean but Mexico, literally, you would have to do 30 searches in Vax or Vacation Express or wherever. Just because you can only search one destination at a time. In TA Toolkit, you can search every destination, and all of those things that I named off are little items that you can check mark and get a list that comes up that matches all those things that your clients wanted. We don't book, we don't tell you availability, we tell you lead-in pricing, but not any current pricing. But it does give you a list to start with, as opposed to going out on Facebook and saying, I don't even know where to start. Where should I send these clients? So it literally in 10 minutes, you can have a list of what you should be looking for, as opposed to hours of research or waiting on people to answer on Facebook and that sort of thing. So I don't want to go into a whole lot of that because we are getting low on time here. But we like to say on that one that the return on investment, it's currently $12.95 a month. If you have the time saved from that to just sell one more vacation in a month, then it's 20 times your return on investment. So my point of telling you that is, those are the kinds of things that you need to be looking for, is the things that if you invest this little amount, you can get this amount of a return. Okay, so those are some of the ways to let me see a couple of other things. It doesn't have to just be technology like that. It could be that you hire a bookkeeper, and if it takes you an hour each week to get your stuff in, but it takes her 30 minutes because she likes it and knows what she's doing, and you pay her even $50 an hour, then you're paying $25 a week or $100 instead of taking away $400 worth of your productive time. Okay, so you're really 300 to the good if you're using that time to go out and sell more. It might not be that you want to sell more. It might be that you want to go watch your son's baseball game and actually pay attention. Or it might be that you want to go to bed when your spouse does. That's a huge one for me. I feel like I don't ever get to do that. So anyway, I hope you found a couple of nuggets that you can use in this today. And like I said, Sheila is going to put a link in the chat where I have done a little worksheet for you that kind of goes through all this. If you fill out the information in that link and send it, you will get not only the worksheet back, but you'll get this slide deck as well to kind of help you remember what we talked about. And then I think Sheila said she's putting it, we're recording it and putting it on your YouTube channel. Was that right?
That's correct. And I just actually dropped in a link, Debbie, to the live overview that we did with you. I think it was last month, to demo the TA Toolkit. So we did have a more in-depth conversation. It's a great time-saving tool. Before I go over and look at some of the questions, I wanted to mention a few things, and if you wanted to, you could leave your last slide up, or you could not screen share, and then we could have everybody participate. So a couple of things I want to explain. BNI, so that is a business networking group. Many of your larger cities will have a networking group that you can join, and there's not a lot of overlap. Jesse Morris, if you've ever seen him speak at Cruise World, has had huge success with his BNI chapter where he lives. He's actually conducting our premium member content training for February. I'm really excited about that. Jesse and I go back. We started at the same time. So that's what BNI is. Affiliate links, I want to make a mention because not everybody knows the acronyms or what these are. So affiliate links, and I believe Debbie explained it pretty clearly to you. But if an affiliate link is if you're reselling somebody's product, or if you are referring people to products and you make a commission off of that. And as speaking about affiliate links and advertising disclosures, you must have advertising disclosures on your website. It is not optional. and we are releasing our brand new updated website policies today. Included with those policies is an advertising disclosure policy. It is a new policy that is being added to your group of terms of use, privacy policy, California privacy policy, and now you have that affiliate and advertising disclosure piece. So I'm going to run over to Facebook if you want to look at the Zoom chat stuff, and then we'll reconnect. We'll tag team this, Debbie.
No, that's great. I'm going to start at the bottom here. It's just easier. So Lori asked, this TA toolkit only for the Caribbean and Mexico? Right now we have the Caribbean and Mexico, both sides of Mexico covered. So both coasts, Central America, so Costa Rica, Belize, Honduras. We have a few in the United States right now, like how could I leave out the bungalows, Key Largo. And behind the scenes, before the end of the year, we'll be releasing Hawaii. So we are almost done getting all of those entered in. So I actually had a question in my TA Toolkit Facebook group the other day, a poll asking what people wanted to see put in there next. And my marketing lady sent me an email and told me the answers, and I haven't had a chance to read it yet. So it'll be a surprise.
Yay, and you're getting ready to hop on a cruise in literally like a few minutes.
Yeah, well, on Sunday, but I am actually in Conway, Arkansas, 3 hours from home. We got up and left this morning. I got a room at the library in Conway, which was about the right spot for me to stop and do this webinar. So
thank you so much for going out of your way to do this. Okay, let's see. I included Debbie's site. I included a link to the YouTube video, which we recorded with Debbie earlier. Let's see, what is the difference between O and X?
it was just a way to mark your list of so the O, I think, was things that you felt were really important for your business, like a CLIA membership. And then the X was just some extra thing. And basically X was everything that was left over that didn't fit in the other categories, because those are the things that if they weren't advertising, they weren't necessary, and you didn't feel that they were important, then those are ones that you should really be considering if you need to spend the money on them or not.
So the bottom line is, if it's making you money and saving you time, and it's essential to operating your business, like you cannot operate without it, those are the things that Debbie is trying to get you to think about. If there are things that are great to have in your business, and they can enhance it in some way, but it doesn't make or break you, it doesn't necessarily save you time, or maybe there's another option that is free or lesser cost, whatever, that's what she's trying to get you guys to think about, is reducing your expenses, maximizing your profit. And so categorizing those things so you can have a visual. I'm a visual person. You must be too, Debbie. Well, you must be, because you developed the visual interface for TA Toolkit, which is, user interface is a skill. It's a talent. Trust me, I've worked with lots of people who develop tech. It is definitely a skill, but I'm a visual person. So I like to write it out. I actually have a whiteboard in my office. Like, it's over there. You guys can't see it. It's huge, like 5 feet by 4 feet, because I'm a visual person. So let's see, do we have any other questions? You can either raise your hand, unmute yourself, type it in the chat.
Sheila, I like your comment about TIS.
Okay. All right, guys. So we're on time. We're on time today. Oh my gosh. Okay. So listen, I know it's probably because everybody is asking themselves, is it too early to have a margarita or a glass of wine? All right, raise your hand if you think it's never too early. That's how we're going to close out our day. I see Shelly. I can only see Shelly and Scott on the screen right now. And, somehow I knew you two would definitely be raising your hand. Thanks so much, you guys, for joining us. So we have Monday and Tuesday, which wrap up the wave season. Wednesday is not connected to wave season, but it just happens to fall. That's where we're going to talk about Reposit. And January, I just got confirmation. I'm having my favorite BDM on from Allianz, Barbara Hearn. If you guys have not worked with Barbara Hearn, she's amazing. We're going to talk everything travel insurance. And let's see, Charlene, can you put the link for converting docs to PDFs? The one that's on our website. Oh, you know what it is? It is, let me just pull up this site real quick. TinyWow, just like it sounds, tinywow.com. And what is the link to YouTube to view the webinars? Last one, let me pull up our, you could search for us, YouTube / Travel Industry Solutions, but let me put it here in the chat. There's a bunch of videos on there. And we'll move some more of these over. So they'll be in our Facebook group until the end of wave season. And then we'll move them over to the YouTube channel. So thanks guys. Thanks for being here today. It's so great to see your faces. I hope those of you who are in a time zone where it makes sense to have that margarita, just go for it. You know what? Just shut it down and just go for it. And enjoy your weekend. Debbie, as always, thanks so much for being here. You know, I probably won't have to text you late into the night because we've actually had some FaceTime today. So you'll get to enjoy yourself. And happy holidays to everybody. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sheila.